Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm thrilled to see the positive feedback from my last video on Queen Elizabeth II's brooches. Because of your wonderful response, I decided to create a continuation. In this video, we will delve into more fascinating brooches from the late Queen's collection. We'll explore unique pieces like the exquisite diamond and sapphire grapes brooch and the beautiful Saskatchewan tourmaline brooch. Additionally, we'll look at the historic 11-pearl brooch, an heirloom of the crown dating back to Queen Victoria, and the elegant brooch with the national symbol of Wales, the diamond daffodil brooch. Each brooch not only adds to the Queen's regal appearance, but also carries its own story and significance. So let's dive into the world of these magnificent jewels. Before we begin, please support my channel by clicking the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you. The Australian waddle brooch is a significant piece in Queen Elizabeth II's collection, symbolizing both national pride and natural beauty. Crafted by the Australian firm William Drummond, the brooch is made of platinum and adorned with white and yellow diamonds designed to represent Australia's national flower, the waddle. The brooch was commissioned as a gift for the new monarch and was presented to Queen Elizabeth II by Prime Minister Robert Menzies during a state banquet in Canberra in February 1954 during her Commonwealth tour. Shortly after receiving it, she wore the brooch in Melbourne. This exquisite floral design made the brooch a favorite for springtime occasions. For instance, in May 1960, the Queen wore it during her annual visit to the Chelsea Flower Show. The brooch also featured prominently at the Royal Maundy service multiple times, including in 2002 at Canterbury Cathedral and in Windsor in April 2019. The brooch was chosen for several significant events, such as the wedding of her eldest son, the Prince of Wales, to the Duchess of Cornwall in April 2005. In the United Kingdom, the brooch was often seen at events related to Australia and the Commonwealth. For example, the Queen wore it during an audience with Australian Prime Minister John Howard at Buckingham Palace in November 2003 and for the annual Commonwealth Day service in London in March 2017. The Bird of Paradise. Jubilee brooch is a stunning piece that embodies the essence of summertime with its gold, diamonds, and floral design. This intricate brooch was a diamond jubilee gift to Queen Elizabeth II from the government of Singapore in 2012. Crafted by Singapore-based jeweler Thomas Kwan, the brooch is made of yellow gold and set with 61 diamonds. Interestingly, it was not a commissioned piece, but a stock item from Kwan's firm, purchased by an official from Singapore's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who later discovered its regal destination. The design of the brooch is inspired by the bird of paradise plant, scientifically named Strelitzia regini, a name honoring Queen Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, an ancestor of Queen Elizabeth II. Despite its large circumference, the brooch lays flat against the Queen's coats, jackets, and dresses, making it a versatile accessory. Over the years, the brooch has become one of the Queen's favorites, often paired with brightly colored outfits. For example, she wore it with a sunny yellow jacket and hat at the Epsom Derby in May 2017, and with a lime green ensemble during the first day of Royal Ascot in June 2017. In March 2019, the brooch complemented a vibrant orange coat and hat during a visit to the Science Museum in London. The Braemar feather brooch. For her Golden Jubilee in 2002, Queen Elizabeth II was presented with this brooch from the Braemar Royal Highland Society. Made from platinum, white gold, and 24-karat gold on silver in the shape of an eagle's feather, it features a Jubilee stamp on the back. Since receiving it, the Queen wore this brooch annually at the Braemar Highland Games, making it a recognizable and cherished accessory. The brooch is typically worn vertically and stands out against the vibrant colors of her jackets. For example, in 2007, the Queen wore it with a bright green coat, highlighting the brooch's mixed metals. In 2013, she paired it with a pale pink tweed outfit, allowing the brooch's intricate design to shine. The Queen's bouquet brooch, known for its delicate yet dramatic design, is a stunning piece featuring a spray of diamond and ruby blooms held together with a sparkling bow. This rare brooch was inherited by Queen Elizabeth II from her mother in 2002. The Queen Mother wore it in her later years as part of a set with other royal ruby pieces. Since its inheritance, the brooch has been seen in public only a handful of times, typically at significant diplomatic functions or family holiday events, often paired with outfits in rosy tones. The Queen first wore the brooch publicly in 2008 at the Royal Maundy service in Armagh, where it complemented her smart red jacket. In 2014, during a state visit to France, the brooch was prominently displayed against the scarlet sash of the Legion of Honor at a banquet at the Élysée Palace. It was accompanied by one of the Queen's favorite royal jewels, the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The following year, the brooch's rubies perfectly matched a white tweed jacket flecked with coral ribbon that the Queen wore to a garden reception in Berlin. The brooch made another appearance at the Christmas Day church service at Sandringham in 2019, where it was paired with a regal red jacket and hat. In 2021, the Queen wore the brooch during her visit to Manchester's Media City, where it provided a striking contrast to a teal outfit designed by her dressmaker, Angela Kelly. The modern ruby and diamond spray brooch is a remarkable piece in Queen Elizabeth II's collection, with an unknown origin but a design that dates back to the mid-20th century. This brooch features a gold setting adorned with diamonds and a slender row of rubies, embodying a sophisticated and timeless design. Queen Elizabeth II wore it at notable events in the past century, including a luncheon with Chancellor Ludwig Erhard in 1965, a visit by Sheikh Zayed in 1969, and a state visit to France in 1972. The brooch also appeared during her 1988 Australia tour and a 1995 visit to Belfast. The brooch was also worn during the Diamond Jubilee festivities in April 2012 for a walkabout in Windsor, and in February 2020 during a visit to Thames House, MI5's headquarters, paired with a burgundy outfit. For this visit, she paired the brooch with a burgundy outfit with floral touches and wore the brooch with the spray facing upward, as she typically does. Queen Mary's turquoise brooch. The turquoise brooch, a diamond and turquoise piece from the 19th century, holds a rich history. It was given as a wedding gift to Queen Mary by her parents-in-law, King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra. Queen Elizabeth II began wearing this brooch in the last years of her reign, notably around 2015. Queen Elizabeth II wore this brooch on several significant occasions. One of its notable appearances was during her address to the nation and the world in April 2020 from Windsor Castle amid the coronavirus pandemic. In her speech, she thanked essential workers and encouraged resilience in the face of the crisis. The brooch, with its long family history, was chosen for its innocuous yet regal presence. There was much speculation about the brooch's hidden meaning, but the Queen selected it simply as a piece of jewelry. The true significance lay in her words, not in her clothing or jewelry. The Queen's diamond daffodil brooch is a modern jewel designed to resemble a spray of yellow daffodils, a flower that is the national symbol of Wales. This unique brooch is part of Queen Elizabeth II's extensive collection of floral-themed jewelry. The brooch first came into public view in a portrait of the Queen painted for the Welsh Rugby Union by Welsh artist Dan Llewellyn Hall. The painting, unveiled in May 2013 to mark the 60th anniversary of the Queen's coronation. She sat for the painting at Windsor Castle in November 2012. The first formal outing for the brooch was in 2014, when Queen Elizabeth II wore it during engagements in Essex. The brooch was prominently displayed on her tweedy coat during a visit to Chelmsford Cathedral to celebrate the centenary of the diocese. Some jewelry enthusiasts believe that the daffodil and shamrock brooches are part of a set presented to the Queen by the Sultan of Oman as a Diamond Jubilee gift in 2012. This set is thought to include a thistle brooch and possibly a modern Tudor rose brooch as well. One of the brooch's most recent appearances was during Royal Ascot in June 2019. The Queen wore it for Ladies' Day, pairing the brooch with a stunning yellow and gray ensemble featuring additional yellow flowers. The Saskatchewan tourmaline brooch is a beautiful piece of jewelry presented to Queen Elizabeth II by the Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan in October 2013. Crafted by Rachel Mielke of the Canadian jewelry firm Hilberg and Burke, the brooch is made of white gold and set with Madagascar tourmalines, diamonds, and a single freshwater pearl. The design features a floral motif with geometric edges, giving it a fresh and contemporary feel. Queen Elizabeth II was visibly delighted upon receiving the brooch, reportedly gasping when she saw the gift. She quickly integrated it into her regular brooch rotation, wearing it publicly for the first time in Norfolk in February 2014. One notable appearance of the brooch was at Royal Ascot in 2014, where it complemented the Queen's wardrobe, which often includes shades of pink. The brooch's colors shift depending on the lighting, adding to its charm and versatility. The Sapphire and Diamond Grapes brooch. Although little is known about this charming brooch, it is known to have come from the collection of the Queen Mother and was inherited by Queen Elizabeth II after her mother passed away in 2002. The Queen was often seen wearing it on royal blue jackets. The stunning brooch depicts a cluster of grapes, with each grape represented by a diamond. The diamond stems are tied together with a sapphire bow. The sapphires appear to be old-cut stones of the highest quality, set above 16 remarkable diamonds. The brooch made its public debut in June 2006 when the Queen wore it on the first day of Royal Ascot, an event long associated with her mother. The brooch was last seen in late April 2022, when the Queen wore it during an audience with Swiss President Ignacio Cassis and his wife Paula Cassis at Windsor Castle. The pearl brooch of Queen Victoria, known as the 11-pearl brooch, is a significant piece in the royal collection. This brooch features 11 large pearls, 8 set in an elaborate diamond arrangement, with 3 more pearls hanging as pendants. Queen Victoria designated this brooch as an heirloom of the crown upon her death in 1901. Queen Victoria was pictured with a brooch of 11 pearls only a couple of times. However, it became a favorite of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who retained it after her husband's death and her daughter's accession to the throne. The Queen Mother wore the brooch well into her old age, including during some of her last birthday celebrations and her final Easter service. After the Queen Mother's death, the brooch began to be worn by Queen Elizabeth II. The brooch was publicly debuted by Queen Elizabeth II during her 2009 Christmas broadcast. Since then, it has been worn on numerous occasions, including the 2016 Christmas speech. The late Queen wore Queen Victoria's 11-pearl brooch for her final portrait, which was made by artist Beja Hamilton at Windsor Castle on May 6, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through some of the exquisite brooches from Queen Elizabeth II's collection. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content on royal jewelry and history. And if you haven't seen the first part of this series, where I showcased 10 lesser-known brooches from the Queen's collection, be sure to check it out.